Hello, sports fans. Welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over my Week 4 NFL Power Rankings. So, going over last week's rankings and what those teams did in Week 3. Last week, at number 10, I had the Seahawks. They beat the Dolphins 24-3. 9 was the Vikings. They destroyed the Texans 34-7. 8 was the Chargers. They lost to the Steelers 20-10. 7 was the Saints. They lost to the Eagles 15-12. 6 was the Lions. They beat the Cardinals 20-13. 5 was the Buccaneers. They were upset by the Broncos 26-7. 4 was the 49ers. They lost to the Rams 27-24. 3 was the Texans. They were demolished by the Vikings, losing 34-7. 2 was the Bills. They destroyed the Jaguars 47-10. And 1 was the Chiefs. They beat the Falcons 22-17. But getting into this week's rankings and beginning things at number 10, I've got the Jets. So the Jets, they enter my top 10 after a dominant 24-3 win over the Patriots on Thursday Night Football. The Jets looked great. Aaron Rodgers had his best game as a Jet, throwing for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. And as he continues to play and return from his injury, he looks more and more like the guy we saw in Green Bay. That is great news for the Jets. But Rodgers had a great game. The Jets also ran the football effectively, and the defense was really good, getting back to their dominant self, as they held the Patriots to just 3 points and 139 total yards, also had 7 sacks. But the Jets, they dominated in their win over the Patriots, and they enter at number 10. Number 9, I've got the Packers. So the Packers, they enter at number 9 after easily beating the Titans 30-14. Quarterback Malik Willis was great against his former team, as he threw for 202 yards, which is a career high. He also had a touchdown, and then he added 73 yards and a touchdown as a rusher. The Packers' defense was also really good, forcing 3 turnovers and getting to the quarterback 8 times. The Packers have now won back-to-back games with Malik Willis, both actually against AFC South opponents. But the Packers now 2-1, and Jordan Love should return somewhat soon. And the Packers, they're at number 9. Number 8, I've got the Steelers. The Steelers continued their good start to the season, and they're now 3-0 after their win over the Chargers. The Steelers' offense scored a season-high 20 points, and Justin Fields had a great game, as he threw for 245 yards, a touchdown, and a pick, and he also had a rushing touchdown. Now, Justin Fields has looked pretty good for the Steelers in his 3 starts so far, and the Steelers have won all of them. Obviously, they're 3-0. Now, the question for the Steelers is, should they continue to start Justin Fields once Russell Wilson is healthy? I would say yes, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, outside of Justin Fields, the Steelers' defense was great like usual, allowing just 10 points and 168 total yards. And the Steelers actually have the best scoring defense in the NFL, allowing just 8.7 points per game. But the Steelers, after a great 3-0 start, they enter at number 8. Number 7, I've got the Texans. So the Texans fall to 7 after a bad 34-7 loss against the Vikings. And the Texans, they were pretty bad. Their offense really struggled, scoring just 7 points. And they turned the ball over twice. CJ Stroud didn't play the greatest game, throwing for 215 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. But he wasn't helped out by a bad game from his offensive line, as the offensive line allowed 5 sacks, and couldn't open up rushing lanes, as the Texans had just 38 rushing yards, while averaging 2.7 yards a carry. The Texans' defense also was not good, allowing 34 points, and they allowed the Vikings to score pretty easily. But after a bad performance for the Texans, they come in at number 7 after their first loss of the season. Number 6, I've got the Eagles. So the Eagles enter at number 6 after a 15-12 win over the Saints. The Eagles' offense was actually pretty good despite only scoring 15 points, as they moved the ball extremely efficiently for over 450 yards. Jalen Hurts had 311 passing yards, 170 of them went to tight end Dallas Goedert. And Saquon Barkley ran the football effectively for 147 yards and 2 scores. But while the Eagles moved the football effectively, they just couldn't finish drives, as they turned the ball over twice, failed to convert on 4th down twice, and also missed a field goal. Now, the Eagles' defense, they played really well, allowing a season-low 12 points. It wasn't the greatest win for the Eagles, but they did beat a Saints team that had looked really good in the first couple weeks of the season, and the Eagles at number 6. Number 5, I've got the Seahawks. So the Seahawks jump into my top 5 after a 24-3 win over the Dolphins. The Seahawks offense looked great. Geno Smith threw for 289 yards, a touchdown, and 2 picks. DK Metcalf had 4 catches for 104 yards and a touchdown. And running back Zach Charbonnet had a good game, filling in for Kenneth Walker, as he had 91 yards and 2 scores. Then the Seahawks defense has looked really good so far this year, and they were great once again. They dominated, allowing just 3 points, and really didn't let the Dolphins get anything going offensively. But the Seahawks, they're at number 5 at 3-0. Number 4, I've got the Lions. So the Lions move up to number 4 after their 20-13 win over the Cardinals. It was a good bounce-back win, but it wasn't the greatest win. The offense was pretty good with 20 points, but all of them came in the first half. Jared Goff was pretty solid with 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. And David Montgomery ran the ball well for 105 yards and a touchdown. And then defensively, the Lions were good, especially in the second half, to seal the victory. But the Lions, they're now 2-1. I've got them at number 4. Number 3, I've got the Vikings. So the Vikings move up to number 3 following their dominant 34-7 win over the Texans. Sam Darnold continued to look like an early MVP contender as he threw 4 touchdowns, although he did leave the game with an injury, but it doesn't seem to be a serious injury as he was able to return to the game. Justin Jefferson had a good game with 6 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown, and Aaron Jones was good as both a runner and a receiver, with 102 rushing yards as well as 46 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. And then the Vikings defense has looked really good so far to start the season. They allowed just 7 points, forced 2 turnovers, and got 5 sacks. But the Vikings, they've looked really good so far. I've got them at number 3. Number 2, I've got the Bills. So the Bills remain at number 2 after they dominated the Jaguars 47-10. Josh Allen played an insane game with 263 yards and 4 touchdowns, and all 4 of his touchdowns came in the first half. Rookie receiver Keon Coleman caught his first NFL touchdown, and the Bills' defense was dominant, allowing just 10 points, 3.5 yards per play, and also forcing 2 turnovers. But the Bills, they destroyed the Jaguars, and I could see the argument to have them at number 1, but for now I'll have them at 2. And at number 1, it is the Chiefs. They will remain at number 1 after their 22-17 win over the Falcons. The Chiefs' offense was pretty good. Patrick Mahomes threw for 2 touchdowns, and Rashee Rice was great with 12 catches for 110 yards and a score. And the Chiefs' defense was also pretty good. But once again for the Chiefs, this game didn't come without controversy, as the Chiefs had a missed pass interference call, which should have put the ball on the 1-yard line for the Falcons with the potential to take the lead late in the game. But obviously that was a missed call, which it's just part of the game, although it does seem like it happens a little more for the Chiefs, and it goes in their favor very often. But the Chiefs do remain at number 1 as they're undefeated and 3-0. But those are my Week 4 NFL Power Rankings. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn notifications so you don't miss any of their upcoming videos. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.